Hi guys, in this video I am going to tell you everything about all the tameable creatures, how to find them, how to tame them, how to breed them, and how to trap them, of course. So we'll start off with how to trap them. You can build a basic walled trap like this and then stick the walls in after you get them in, or dig a ditch and build a ramp, and as you run up to it you have them follow you and then wait till they're really close to you, and then you just run across that gap and then destroy the foundation for them, and they'll fall right down into your trap. As you can see, this is how I captured my first couple locks, and I bred a couple in here to get it started, and then I walked them out later on, or they escaped later on after they were tamed and agitated. So now I will tell you about how to find. I'll start off with the wolves. I got the wolves over here to show you my wolf breeder, and the pigs are over here too to show you the breeding system I have. Now first of all, we'll talk about the 2-star wolves. Everyone's favorite pet they want to get. You have to find them in the mountain biome, of course, and the 2 stars will only spawn at night. And if daytime comes, they will run away and you're out of luck. You have to catch them right away, and you have to start the taming process before daybreak, or they will despawn eventually if you're out of render distance. But you can camp and wait all day if you're unlucky and daybreak came and you have them trapped and you didn't get the taming out in time. That has happened to me. You had to wait all day to get the first one. Kind of unlucky. But what you want to do is, when you get them into your trap, you have to have food in there ready for them to get it started right away, and run away so they're not agitated and you're out of distance. Like run far away and sneak and wait till you're sneaking there, and then they'll come around and eat the food. Once they start eating, they'll be starting the taming process. That taming process means they won't despawn on you or run away anymore. Well, they will try to run away, but if you have them trapped, they won't get away. But you don't have to worry about them, disappearing on you like they will if you don't have the taming process started. So once you get that started and they're even at 1%, they will stay there in their trap and you can go off and do some other stuff. And the taming process will only happen if you're in render distance. That means, if you're far away, they'll just keep eating the food. You won't get any credit for the taming, and you'll come back and get, hey, the food's all gone, but they're not tamed because you weren't close enough. You have to actually be there within the range. Now, wolves will eat any of this meat here. As you can see, they'll eat any of these meats here, and you're going to be mainly feeding them the extra deer meat because you can't really cook with it and there's lots of deer around, or make your boar farm and have lots of boar meat. If you have extra boar meat to use that. They'll eat the luck's meat, of course, so you can make lots of locks and do that. So I got a couple in here. I had to kill them off. They're getting too laggy. But once you get them trapped and they're tamed, wolves will follow you and help attack you. They're really handy that way. You just click on them and they will follow you anywhere you want. And to get them up in their trap, it's pretty easy. You just run them over and run up the ramp like this that you made for your trap, for your breeder. You run them up like so. They're still on follow. You come over, you jump across them. Pushing them on follow is a lot easier if you just leave them on follow, and then you can just run them and push them into the trap like so. And this will turn off the breeder, of course, if you're actually doing it. And now he's trapped inside your nice little tower breeder. Now wolves will breed up to 4 within a certain range, and then they'll stop breeding. So if there's a baby in here, they'll stop breeding. Of course, you don't want 3 adults in here, really. Ideally, you can have 3 and just have 1 baby, and hopefully it pops off relatively fast. But that usually doesn't happen, so you can just, I'll just kill one off here. The butcher's knife. And if you don't have a butcher's knife at the start of the game, you can use this. Toggle the friendly fire off, on and off. And that, of course, leads me to the other thing about wolves. Once you get a 2-star wolf, this is what they drop. They'll drop 4 of each. I only picked up 3 fangs because I guess one dropped down somewhere else. But they drop 4 of everything. A 2-star will drop 4 of everything, and a 1-star will drop 2 of all of those. And of course, the 0-star regular wolf will drop 1 of each. So, and these guys do, of course, they do have more hit points and damage. That's why you want them, of course. Now, to build this, you have to build up your land without digging. If you want to do that at the start of the game, like you start the game and you're in the meadows and you have a mountain biome right beside you, and you go, hey, how about I tame some wolves right away? Go out there at night and do that, and get them to come to you. You know, knock some trees down, get them to come running at you and say, hey, what's going on down there? And the wolves will come to you. So you raise your land up 4 like this, level it off, and you build a pillar up here, and you have to build 6 of these. This is the breeder. I got videos on these breeders and how to build them, but as you can see, there's 6 spaces, and then on the outside I made a ring like this, which is just one little space gap around, and the babies will get pushed off and they'll fall down, and that's 6 down there, because I want, in case you wanted to make it really bigger and have all the wolves stack up for a nice big army of wolves with you. And babies will fall down there eventually, and the breeder will just keep on working as long as you feed them. You just come up to about here, hold block to aim if you didn't know that, and then you just throw your food and it lands in there. And of course, if the babies do get stuck, this one here is nice because you can just jump in here and start pushing them around and say, hey, get off there, stop getting stuck. But that rarely happens. Nothing's ever perfect. Now, that is it about the wolves. That's how to breed them, how to catch them, how to tame them effectively, and what they drop and what they eat. Now, let's go on to the boars. If you want to feed your wolves or get some leather at the start of the game and capture your boars, they will use this food here to eat. And I only have 1 star, so this is what a 1 star drops if you kill them. It's just 2 meat and 2 scrap. And they'll eat the blueberries, the mushrooms, the raspberries, and they'll eat the new onions too. And when you're running around and you capture them, you can catch them the same way or catch them in a little trap like this. Once they're tamed the same way, you just catch them and throw that food in there for them and they'll eat it and tame. Boars have the same restrictions as wolves as far as space is concerned before they'll stop breeding, but they'll have 5. So you can, if you have a small enclosure and you get like 5 boars in there, they'll stop breeding and they won't make new babies. It's kind of a pain. That's why you build it up like this, and then the babies will fall down and drop down there, and then you're not wasting so much space, and you're just using a nice vertical drop system to have the babies drop down, and you can keep breeding them without stopping, and build up like 100 if you want to be, if you have a supercomputer. Now, to move them around, you can build a system like this to push them and lock it in, and the boars will only move by being pushed around. And they're kind of tricky. I should have built a wall there, but they're kind of a pain to push around like this. So, but you can get it done if you find a 2-star. If you want to find a 2-star easier, you run around the meadows at nighttime looking for the boars, and that's when the 2 stars will spawn more likely. But they can probably spawn in the daytime too, since they're not a big threat. And see how much of a pain it is to push these guys around? They just don't want to cooperate at all. So once you get your system built and locked in, and you get them up there, you just push them up there, and then if it's all fenced in nicely, you can push them up the stairs and into your breeding system like so. And he's pushing back like this, just for an example, and there he goes, he's in there. Now these guys won't come out, they won't jump out, he's not in all the way, but who cares. They won't get pushed out with this breeder here. This breeder is a little bit smaller than the other ones, and it's 4 high here to this floor. I was testing out the height, and dug down here is the 5th level, so they just have to be, this has to be broken for this to work in this dugout, and this one here has no extra scaffolding. It's just, you know, it's a dugout pit. But if you don't want to dig a pit, you just make an extra scaffolding like over there on the wolf breeder, and you should be good to go. But to note, to build this breeder, to actually have the boars eat, they need 6 things of platform 2 as a minimum. And to build the spaces on this one here, you use these small little 1-meter poles and connect it like that, and then like that, and like that. And it's simple. That means you got your corner, then you just stick one on there, and one more on top of it, like so, and you got your one right there, like I did over here. Did it in this corner here, stuck it there, and then I anchored it to here with this angle piece, which doesn't really interfere with them dropping very much, and that stabilizes this whole area. And then after you got that one block done, then you can build your whole thing around it, and so you have a 1 meter space all around. And they need that meter space just like the wolves need their full space. This is half a meter space, and the wolves need like the full meter space for theirs before they'll go on. Watch the tutorials if you have any problems building it, but it's pretty simple design if you want to keep breeding them like this and they have them get pushed off and stuff like that. And of course, if you have the abyssal harpoon, it's much easier to move these guys around. But that's about it. I think I covered everything on the boars. Plain and simple. They will drop 4. The 2 stars will drop 4 of everything. Also, and that's just this, you know, leather scraps and the food. Simple breeder, boars. How to find them. Now the locks, they're in the plains, of course, and you can tame them by running them into the trap, like I said earlier, or you can just find out where they are camping out at, and say he's camping out here. You sneak up and you throw a cloudberry down for them, or a stack of them, and then you run away. If they aggro to you, it's okay, just run far away, and then make sure you're sneaking, and they're not attacking you no more, and they'll eventually walk back to where they were, and then they'll say, hey, there's berries there, and I'll start eating them. Then you'll see the hearts popping up on there, over top of them, and they'll be taming, and then you just gotta wait until they're done taming. Then you can move them around with your lock saddle, or push them very, very slowly. And this is a sample lox breeder. You dig it. You have to dig it all the way up. You raise the land all the way up, and it takes like 8 big squares of space they need to stand on, 4 squares each. And then you have to dig down all the way to the bottom if you want this breeder to be working like that. And they're gonna be down to the very bottom and dig it out so they stay down there. You need 8 units of space for the lox breeder. Other than that, for the locks, you know, you just get them, you run them up there, and you stick them in here, and you can get a quick look. I got a video on this if you want to build it. Pretty simple. You can just build it off of here like this. It's not very hard. But now the locks, I forgot my lock saddle. The locks eat just the cloudberries mainly, but you can also feed them the crops. You can feed them your flax and your barley too if you want to. And if you kill them, they drop 5 meat and 2 of their pelts now. Now to ride them, you need your lock saddle. Once you make it, you just click on your saddle and you click on them. And you put your saddle on there, like your number 7 slot or whatever you want. You hit 7 and you have your saddle and you're riding them. And they use stamina up, and their stamina will regenerate if you're on top of them. But if you're not standing on top of the locks, they don't regenerate their stamina. They'll sit there and have no stamina, and you come back, hang on, and go for a ride, and they got no stamina, and you can't charge, you can't sprint. So that's a major downfall for them. Other than that, they're really handy for their charge does like 40 damage per hit, so you can charge through and knock down trees and stuff like that, and run them over and damage them that way, and damage animals and stuff too. And to move on the locks, it's just W, and then use your mouse to turn. Like this. That's how the locks moves. And if you want to charge it, sprint as usual, and the locks will just keep auto running, so you gotta press backwards. You gotta press your backwards button to make them stop, and that's how they attack. They only auto attack, so there's no attacks for them. You have to stop them from moving and then let them autopilot themselves. So that's how you catch them, that's how you tame them, and that's how you breed them, and that's everything you need to know about locks, boars, and wolves, where to find them, and everything like that. And these are the only creatures you can tame, so don't be looking for how to tame deer or something like that. These guys are the only ones you can tame, and you can breed them and use them for whatever purpose you feel like using them for. Okay, I hope you learned everything you needed to learn. Thanks for watching. Bye.